Ako prebieha.
Should be fine. Okay, we can start.
Okay.
Okay, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm alright. How are you?
Same, yeah. Very decent. Alright, just one sec. Let me check my stream with phone. There's one issue. It says, does it work? Alright, yeah, it works just fine. Okay. We can move on to the Brazilian GP. So we're doing reactions first, then we're doing the Las Vegas predictions. It's gonna be interesting.
Oh yeah.
Alright. Since it's been a while since Brazilian GP, I don't quite remember everything, so we're just gonna. Well, we can talk more, but I don't know how well I'm gonna remember each of the things. So
It was boring.
okay, that's one way to put it. Definitely wasn't the best Grand Prix this year, but for Brazilian GP standards, it was bad. But I think it wasn't as bad a race as, for example, Mexico.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty average Grand Prix. Since it's Interlagos, we have like high expectations of the track. The track is amazing and produced some great races over the past few years. Alright, shall we move into the predictions? Right. Pole position in real life was obviously Max, due to that crazy qualifying which turned, like, this guy almost looked like Night Sky for a moment. That was...
Yeah. It was awful. The dark, like, it was scarily dark.
Yeah, it was crazy, indeed. Yeah, it was like some kind of tropical storm. I don't even know what it was, just random darkness moving out. It wasn't even like too much of a rain, it was just more wind and the darkness, general darkness, yep. And obviously the wind destroyed one of the grandstands, which is pretty dangerous.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Hopefully no one was too much injured. I don't know. I remember some people were like affected by it. I don't know if there were like any major injuries.
I don't think, from memory, I don't think anyone was hurt.
Yeah, okay, that's good.
I can't confirm that.
It looked terrifying for the photos.
Yes, it did. Yeah, just how dark the sky was and so on.
Yeah. Like, to a point, it was pretty interesting as well. Like seeing such a different climate like situation from one we're used to like see. Yeah, that's interesting. Thankfully, no one was hurt as far as we are aware. So yeah, no points for pole position when it comes to pole position. It was a fairly interesting qualifying up until the final moment where, well, every driver will go only one run, and obviously Max was the first one on track, got the best track conditions, and got pole position.
I think both McLaren and Mercedes put their drivers on used tyres as well, which screwed them.
Yeah, that was just not good from McLaren and Mercedes in qualifying especially. I think McLaren not only went on all the tires, but also went last from the entire garage. So basically, the last two cars on track were McLaren's when it started to, well, the climate conditions started to change. The track lost all the grip, and yeah, Norris lost the chance for pole position, which I'm really sad about because we know he got sprint pole position. So yeah. P2 in the real qualifying was Charles, so no points here either. You with Russell, I with Hamilton, and Leno with Verstappen. So, yeah, no points, unfortunately. P3 was, I think it was Stroll, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting to see Aston having two cars up there instead of one after a while. Good qualifying from them. Yeah, good job from Aston Martin.
Stroll overall had probably his best weekend.
Yeah, I agree that was one of his best weekends, if not the best weekends this year. Because I don't remember him having a good weekend apart from like Bahrain or Saudi Arabia, which was
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, good weekend from Aston overall. Big improvements over for the past few races. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
And P4 was Alonso, so well, no points for P3 or P4. For us, fortunate. P5 was, I think it was Hamilton, so no points here as well. No points for qualifying for either of us.
We all struggled.
Definitely couldn't predict that qualifying to end like that. I think it ended like 4 minutes before the official ending time. They just red flagged
Yeah,
it
pretty much.
and said conditions are like unusual. Obviously, no one would go out for a flying lap anyway because they knew, well, the track wasn't any faster. But yeah. Okay. Apart from that, any notable things for qualifying?
I don't think anything really notable. No.
Okay, we can move on to the sprint, which was obviously the sprint qualifying on Saturday. So yeah, that was Lando Norris pole position. Good for 11 and finally getting points over us. Very good job. Yeah. Okay. When it comes to the sprint race itself, I think the sprint qualifying was alright. Nothing really much to say about it. When it comes to sprint itself, well, I think the most notable thing was Mercedes and, well, Ferrari. We expected Ferrari to be bad on tires, but Mercedes was especially awful on their tires on the race distance.
Whole weekend.
Yeah, basically we saw it was just a sprint, and we saw Mercedes just being, well, really really bad in the race pace. Even AlphaTauri was overtaking them, and to be fair, AlphaTauri seemed like they didn't really maximize their weekend this time, because when you see them overtaking Mercedes and Ferraris in the sprint, and well, they started in like bottom 5, both of them in like for the race itself. Ricardo obviously getting rear wing broken, that was unfortunate. Tsunoda, well, recovered to like P8 or P7. Not a bad weekend from AlphaTauri, especially since they've been last in the constructors like 2 races ago. But I feel like they had the chance for more points. Well,
They're quick recently, so you know they'll be disappointed.
Yep. Alright. When it comes to sprint victory, I was Max Verstappen, so no points for us. Well, I actually don't remember anything else from the sprint, apart from like Tsunoda overtaking Hamilton or like that. It's a pretty. I think there were a lot of overtakes. I just don't remember many of them.
Yeah, again, it was exciting, but there was no real stakes in the sprint.
Yep, Max just overtook Lando into turn 1 and then just never looked back. So yeah, that was it. Unfortunate. We definitely saw in the race itself that Lando could have maybe stuck up with Max for a little longer. Maybe if he would have gotten a better start, led after turn 1, and basically kept the lead. I think he could have fought Max for the win, for the sprint itself at least. Not the race, because we saw him finish like 7 seconds behind, which is still not a lot, but well, McLaren were more impressive than I expected, even though I expected Lando to qualify in pole position. I was still impressed by McLaren.
That's fair.
Okay. Anything else you want to point out from the sprint?
No, not for the sprint.
Yeah, the race itself is going to be more interesting to talk about, definitely, especially at the end. Okay. Shall we move on to the race?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay. Win in the race itself was obviously Max, because Max just wins everything. So somehow none of you went for Max win, which is like easy points for me. I mean I don't mind at all. It's funny considering whenever I didn't go with Max, you just got points over me.
I doubled down.
Yeah.
As you can see from my final prediction, my extra bold prediction.
Yeah, you were very hopeful for Mercedes, and well, you kind of. I mean, I don't know. Okay, let's say it was not affected by our predictions, but I mean, you couldn't have chosen a worse weekend for Mercedes to predict like Hamilton Grand Slam, basically.
I couldn't have predicted a worse, but these would. I should just get all reds. I think I do get all reds, so we're all fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, it was such a bad weekend for Mercedes. It legit looked like the slowest car ever in this season, like considering it's a Mercedes. Obviously, they're second in the constructors, so we are used to seeing them up there. But this time, it looked like legit the sixth fastest car in the race pace, which was we didn't expect this since Hamilton got P2 in like the previous 2 or 3 races. So, yeah. I think you were especially upset by Mercedes because Mercedes fan, obviously. I was upset just because, well, I expected some more competition for Red Bull, but yeah. Unfortunate. Mercedes looked really, really bad. Yeah, we're gonna talk about Mercedes more in the teams, I think. Moving on to the P2, who was Lando Norris in real life, so no points for us. P3, this is where it gets interesting. Fernando Alonso in real life. Like, did you expect an Aston podium after the last few races? Like, that was
No.
that was very unexpected.
And he did superbly the whole race.
Yeah, that was just one of the Fernando Alonso performances that were just, well, we should expect them by now. Like, Fernando just, I that racecraft is just unreal. I think when it comes to racecraft and like racing IQ, I think Fernando is like probably the best driver that I've ever seen. Is that the amount of strategy he puts into his racing and racecraft is just unreal. Yeah, obviously talking about the last 15 laps, because Perez caught up to DRS like 15 laps to go, and well, Perez couldn't get closer because of the different line Fernando choose to go into the last turn. I think it was it was second last turn because the straight isn't like the straight is kind of curved, so it's kind of the turn.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, basically the turn before the final straight. Well, Fernando just went a bit from the outside. Chose a outside line, basically getting more grip and getting more acceleration. But Perez's line was more of lap time based, and Fernando's was more being quick, just for the entire straight to maximize being ahead of Perez, which was working for like 10 to 14 laps. I don't remember the exact number. Then second last lap, Perez got close enough to overtake Fernando, which was like, I think most people were like really, really upset because it was so close. And then coming last lap, Fernando just overtakes Perez back. That was a crazy move. I was honestly, for the entire race, I was like pretty bored. I was mostly on my phone and stuff. But those last, well, 5 laps when I started to like actually watch, they were very exciting. Okay, you can give your opinions on the whole thing.
Oh, I think you've summarised it perfectly there. I didn't even need to cap it up, to be honest. I think Alonso showed his racecraft. The fact Perez got through in the final lap and still managed to do, and then their race to the line. I thought Perez had got it on the line, but that's just how close it was.
Yep. In the end, it was like 40 something thousandths of a second, which is honestly ridiculous. That was, I think, the second photo finish we got in the last 2 years. I think the last one was also Fernando being overtaken by Seb, and in Japan last year, which is also very memorable moment. Yep, very exciting the last laps, and yep, I'm really happy for Fernando podium, especially after the difficult past few races. I think he DNF'd in his last 2 as well. So yeah, very difficult, definitely, and to bounce back like this, it's very impressive. I think the Aston should have kept the car they started with, because I think they just went back like to the car they had before the upgrades for this race, and basically, well, they just got back to being, well, third fastest car because McLaren just like jumped them, but still, their car from their early season is still better than this Ferrari and Mercedes right now, which is like pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, definitely. It was an interesting race. It was an interesting performance from Aston. I don't know if they can keep it up, but we'll see.
I mean, Las Vegas is a big question mark when it comes to performance of the car. The Abu Dhabi is like, I would compare it to Suzuka in terms of, well, flow and how the track feels like. Maybe something like a Suzuka, so perhaps we could see Aston being like decent, maybe in top 5 territory if they choose to run the car they ran in Brazil, for example. Okay.
Yeah.
B4 was Perez, obviously, so no points here as well. And P5 in real life was who was P5? Don't you remember? Was it Stroll?
I believe so, yeah.
I think it was Stroll, right?
Yeah, he had a good race, yeah. Yeah, he wasn't too far behind the two of them because they were squabbling for so long.
Yep.
I think he was only ended up like 3 seconds behind them both.
Yep, you're right. It was Stroll. Like I would say he had his best, like you said, his best performance this season, being close to Fernando for the entirety of the weekend, basically out qualifying as well. Very impressive for Stroll, considering just how his season has been going. Yeah, impressive, just impressive. Sainz was P6, so unfortunately, no points.
Has Stroll signed his contract yet?
He just gives himself the contract assigned.
It's pretty much what happens every year, let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean, probably his lawyers making the contract itself and just getting into him to sign this up so we're there next year.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah. Must be living a good life, having his own F1 team. Yeah. That would be interesting too. Well, okay, I'm just offline. Anyway, shall we move on to the most impressive driver? Who, I mean, they're all a bit. I mean, quite a bit of picks. I actually don't know who would I pick personally. Maybe Fernando just because of the race, but still, like, Lando was very impressive. So was Max, but I mean, Max was winning the entire season, so I guess cannot really count it. Tsunoda.
I think Tsunoda, yeah, that's a good one. I do think it has to be Fernando. I think just keeping a Red Bull behind you for however long,
maybe I would,
and then re-overtaking it.
maybe I would even pick Stroll just because how close to Fernando he was for the entire weekend. Like, I think Fernando being on the podium this season is a bit less impressive than Stroll being that close to Fernando for the entire weekend when it comes to like overall. I mean, we don't get points either way. Just I think both of them deserve a mention.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So that means most impressive driver was either Fernando or Stroll, and I mean Tsunoda is a good pick, honestly. I don't know. Maybe if he would like start higher in the race and finish like P6, maybe. It was like I feel like AlphaTauri didn't maximize their points they could have gotten in this race. But Tsunoda drove a great weekend. Obviously, the sprint was very memorable. Like,
Yeah, so Noda's one hell of a drive. I like him a lot.
should we give him a point? Honestly, I would just give him a point. 11 and a.
I feel like we're giving him pity points at this point.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, he's the closest. So if you want to do it based on that, but I do think it's Alonso or Stroll.
Alright.
Like, Sonoda's got a few knives and so on. I don't think... obviously, the sprint was a big thing for him, but...
Okay. Okay, I guess we can agree on Stroll and Alonso being more impressive. Well, sorry, Banana. Maybe next time. Okay. Least impressive driver.
It was me.
Least impressive driver. I think Fernando Alonso was the opposite of the least impressive, so...
Yeah, perhaps.
George, I mean, not his greatest weekend, but I don't think it was like too bad. I think it was mostly due to the car being bad rather than George being bad, because he was relatively close to Lewis for the entire weekend. Like, in the race itself was like on Lewis' pace. Obviously, then George fell off in his tires because Lewis still has the better tire management. So
Yeah.
pretty average weekend for George, I would say.
I'd still put him up there, both Mercedes drivers.
For the least impressive?
Are options, yeah. I think they're options for us.
I don't know. It's difficult to tell because...
It's difficult because they obviously had a terrible car, but, you know, I think for team it's definitely Mercedes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Picking it off a less impressive driver, and I can't really... Do you have any idea?
That's my issue. That's what I was like, maybe we have to go with them. Who had a bad weekend?
That's it,
Not
I don't
really.
know.
There's not really, like, you can't go for, Perez, you can't really think of, like...
Yeah, Perez had a good weekend. Is there like anyone we can think for this one? I actually don't know who do I give the pick, because I know that was a crash.
For the crash.
Yeah, that was a crash at the start. It was like Magnussen squeezing Hulkenberg into Albon, and they all crashed. And like, I think it was Magnussen's fault for most of it, but still doesn't. I mean, giving Magnussen the least impressive driver just because of it, I don't feel like that would be very meaningful.
I'm literally trying to think of anyone.
Yeah. Ocon and Gasly had pretty decent weekends for Alpines. I think Alpine was a pretty good car, and they got both good points, right? I think they got like P7 or P7 and P9 or stuff like that. So yeah.
Do we have? I think given how like the weekend went, it might have to be Magnussen just purely because like they could have done better as a team if that hadn't have happened.
Do you think?
Do you get what I mean?
Because we saw Haas being like, well, I don't know how to put it in a polite way, but I think their car was so shit this weekend they couldn't even go anywhere near close points.
Yeah, I get you, but I'm just...
Magnussen stayed in the race with Albon as well. Like they would finish like P14 and P15, which is the Haas territory this season. Considering the DNFs as well, I don't really know how were the Hasses in the sprint. I don't remember them being too impressive. I think they were good in qualifying, but just not good in the race.
Like always.
Yep.
Then I think it has to be Russell.
That's just difficult. We don't have a clear pick who is like the lead impressive because
I know. Obviously, it's not great on Russell given everything that went down, but you know,
yeah.
it's really difficult to. I'm gonna. Piastri, not really his fault.
Yeah, Piastri was
Hulkenberg, not really his fault. Sargent is in a Williams and still came 10th.
11.
Ocon, you know, I think it has to. If we have to pick someone,
Yeah, I guess it has to be Russell. It's just it feels
Yeah.
wrong to give him the blazing pursuit driver just based on how bad the car was. I don't know. I guess we can do it, but
Russell with the caveat. There we
Yeah.
go. We'll caveat it. We'll go. It's not really his fault, but
all right. I guess it's Russell. We cannot really.
someone has to be picked. Someone has to be picked.
Yeah, someone has to be definitely. All right.
And Hamilton did pretty okay in the sprint given everything that happened. So
We know just how good Hamilton is, and him struggling that bad in this car this weekend was just. We clearly saw just how bad the Mercedes had to be in order for that to happen. So yeah.
exactly.
Okay. Most impressive team. This is interesting because it's definitely not Mercedes. AlphaTauri was
No.
quick, but I feel
It's
like
Aston.
I think McLaren was. I think McLaren could be one of the picks, but Aston Martin would be my pick, honestly.
Yeah, I think it has to be Aston.
It's just that's the resurgence from the last few races. Like they were pretty much back markers in Mexico and coming to Brazil. No one expected them to be good, and they just go to podium. Yeah, that deserves most impressive team. So yeah. Okay, least impressive team. Again, we agreed on Mercedes for this one, I think. So
Yeah,
nothing very much to say.
definitely.
Not Aston and definitely not Alpine because both had really good weekends. Not really good, but really good for Aston and good for Alpine, I'd say. Okay. Prix plus safety cars VSC. I don't think that happened, so yeah, that's no points for me. Hamilton Grand Slam
No.
definitely didn't happen, and oh my god, banana went with Sainz. It was Leclerc DNF'd. That was so lucky.
You might as well guess one of them. I think that's what we're learning.
Yeah. I mean, Leclerc didn't DNF, he just didn't start because he crashed before lap 1, so technically he has a DNS instead of a DNF.
Yeah. True. I didn't consider that.
Yeah. Okay. This was probably the lowest scoring weekend we ever had, and it's a sprint weekend as well. Yeah, looking back, I think this is tying with Singapore. Well, obviously Singapore wasn't a sprint weekend, and yeah, Hungary was 1 point for you, but Lebanon wasn't that one. So yeah. Okay.
I'm on a big 0 this week.
I got a 0 in Hungary, so I guess like. Okay. Okay, point for Max, point for Russell. That makes it 201. That's a low scoring sprint weekend, not gonna lie. Okay, when it comes to scoring,
It's definitely the lowest scoring sprint weekend. We've tended to do quite well on that.
yep. Because the US Grand Prix got 7, so that was my lowest scoring weekend. I think the scoring itself, I just took the lead after. Well, ever since the British Grand Prix, I was catching up. Yeah, two
Is this your
races to
first,
go.
are you two in the lead now?
Yeah, I'm lead by 2 points, so yeah,
Ooh.
still very close. I feel like I'm gonna lose a lot of points in Vegas just because how like unpredictable it is.
Yeah, but we can all lose a lot of points, I guess is the...
Yeah, honestly, no one knows how it's gonna play out. Maybe it's a Ferrari has 1, 2, 3, 4 or something like that, just because of how the track is looking like. But we're gonna talk about the track itself in the predictions, obviously. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that's it for the Brazilian prediction. I guess we can
And
go.
to be honest, we got more out of Brazil than I thought we would.
Yeah, half an hour, pretty good timing. Okay, I guess we can have a little break and then we can start the prediction stream at 35. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, you can go for a bathroom break or whatever. Okay, see you in a bit.
See you in a sec.